The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Talkin' Buds Leaf Show, Leafs Panthers Game 1 post-game edition. Where do you want to start? I have several takes I want to lay on you after that game and lay on anyone who's watching. I think we both agreed when we settled down to watch this tonight, this felt different. Like there wasn't, like every round one game against Tampa, it was like you feel nauseous, like your stomach is in knots going into the game, and that wasn't how we felt tonight. Tonight it was kind of like, okay, let's see what happens. And as I said off the top, a lot of different sort of thoughts coming out of that. Let's start with the Florida Panthers as an opponent, because I was getting really annoyed with some of the Toronto sports media personalities leading into this game and the take that, oh, well, the Leafs should walk all over the Panthers. You know, if you're the Leafs, this is exactly what you were hoping for. And it's like, I get it. You didn't want to play Boston in this round because of the history with the Bruins. But this notion that the Florida Panthers, the Leafs were just going to walk right through them. I hate that. The Leafs aren't walking through anybody. They never do anything easy like that. It's always difficult. And your main takeaway from watching the Florida Panthers tonight?
I mean, I didn't really see or hear the thoughts that they were going to walk all over them. I think what happened is when you play Boston, you kind of have that built-in mentality, built-in excuse that it's going to be tough to beat this team just because of the mental hurdles you have to climb and all the baggage. But when you play just an absolute irrelevant franchise like the Florida Panthers and a team that barely slipped into the playoffs, I know how well they played in the first round, but at the end of the day, a team that barely slips into the playoffs, you're always going to look at them as a team that you can beat. And they proved in the first round that they have something going that is dangerous. And what we learned tonight was the Leafs are not going to get smothered like they got smothered by the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they've already played the best structural hockey team you're going to play in this playoffs, and they somehow walked away with the victory, whether they played well or not. But I think what we learned tonight was you can dominate the O-zone possession, the numbers, but if you give up scoring opportunities against this team, they're going to cash.
Yes.
And they proved that against Boston, and they proved that tonight. So I'd watch out for the errant pinches. I'd watch out for going in on the wing and shooting a puck 10 feet over the net and having it ring off the glass and create a 2-on-1. I understand that the Leafs like playing with open space and time and like playing that run and gun style they've been playing for as long as I've been alive, but you got to be careful with this hockey team because they proved tonight that they can bury.
Also not picking up your guy in the defensive zone. A lot of times there's an open Panther right in the slot in the offensive zone that a Leaf defender has his back to, and it results in a quality scoring chance. This is definitely the takeaway from from watching the Florida Panthers tonight. 100%. They will capitalize on their scoring chances. This is a team that has offensive firepower. Matthew Tkachuk is leading the entire playoffs in points right now. It's interesting. There were points in this game where I thought the Leafs were dominant. And after Nyes got the goal to make it 2-1, they kind of took the game over. And then Bunting tied it up. And it's like, okay, they're imposing their will against this Florida team right now. And then TJ Brodie makes that really, really ill-advised pinch. And to your point that you just made, it results in Carter Verhaeghe going the other way, and it's in the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, it was McCabe jumping in the rush at the wrong time, and then Brodie not hanging back and trying to take the man along the boards that left Verhaeghe wide open.
And to your point, if you make those mistakes against this Florida offense, it's going in your net.
Yeah, and like they're kind of a strange team. Like they don't have a lot of big names, they don't have a lot of scary guys on paper, but they can bury. And I thought the first 10 minutes before Florida scored the first goal, I thought the Leafs were all over them. They got the 2 power plays. I thought both of them were pretty decent power plays. They moved the puck around. They weren't sloppy. They just couldn't cash. And then Florida scored, and then at the kind of the whole end of the first period, halfway through the second, they tied 2-2, and you're like, okay, here we go. Like, they proved in round 1 that they're not out of it now. Like, they can actually come back and make a game out of it. And then the backbreaker 3-2 goal. It's tough to come back from that. And Bob looked pretty good.
That's another thing too. Sergei Bobrovsky looked really, really good tonight. 36 saves. He made a couple of really nice ones. The Leafs didn't get a ton of bounces. You're right. It was a weird game. Like, it's not a game that you can come out of and go, oh man, they were awful. Like, I did think, I thought there was a lot of perimeter play in the offensive zone from William Nylander specifically, and from the bulk of them. But we're going to talk about Nylander and Marner in a minute. Perimeter play in the offensive zone, and then sloppy play in the defensive zone. And like, just to hit it home one more time, if you're sloppy against this team, it's going in the back of your net. So I think they need to get it cleaned up. They can't get sucked into a run and gun, because, you know, it's in the Leafs' DNA. It's in the Leafs' DNA to want to play that way. That's the thing about the Panthers that makes me nervous, is like, they have the ability to suck the Leafs into a style that is going to give Florida chances going back the other way, and they're going to score on those chances. That's what makes me nervous. And you mentioned the power plays. It's like, Florida took a ton of penalties in that first round series against Boston. They're a pretty undisciplined hockey team. You can get them to take stupid penalties. You gotta go Edmonton Oilers. Like, you gotta make them pay. Like, you have to. They have to be afraid. You have to make Matthew Tkachuk afraid to take that extra shot after the whistle and take that penalty, because it's going to cost his team a goal. And I know Bobrovsky was a huge factor tonight, but like, capitalizing on your power play opportunities has to be something that they are prioritizing.
I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks this, but it just seemed like tonight just wasn't a playoff game. Like, every single, like we said earlier, maybe because it was the first round, they're playing Tampa. Like, game 1, I felt sick to my stomach. And throughout the whole series, I was borderline nauseous, just so nervous and on the edge of my seat. Tonight just felt like a game in November, to be honest with you.
It felt like a Tuesday night against the Florida Panthers.
I don't feel any, like, there was, when they made it 3-2, I was kind of spazzing a little bit, but at the end of the day, like, I just didn't have that same feeling I had last round. It was just the style of game that these two teams are going to play against each other. It's not playoff hockey. The Tampa Bay Lightning are the definition of a team that could buckle down and play playoff hockey. This team it felt like a regular season game, to be honest with you. And it's just like, right now, like, I don't like how they lost game 1, obviously, but it's just, I'm not, there's a couple guys I want to hear behind their backs, but it's just I'm not too upset right now.
Okay. There are going to be people in the comments of this video that are going to disagree with what I'm about to say. And they're going to go, but Rob, he had 11 points in the first round. You cannot tell me that Mitch Marner is at his best, and he is most effective when he is hounding pucks and creating in the offensive zone, and he wants the puck and he loses it and he gets it back and he's dominating. He's just not doing that. I still see the same timid guy that we saw in round 1. Mitch Marner is Cougar from the first Top Gun movie. Remember in Top Gun 1 when Maverick and Goose are flying with Cougar and Merlin, and then they have the encounter with the MiG, and then Merlin after that, or Cougar after that, excuse me, is just like completely like struck with fear. That's what I see when I look at Mitch Marner. He looks like when a puck comes near him, he just can't wait to get rid of it. Like, it's like, I don't know if it's like the ramped up physicality. I don't know if it's just like the fear of making a mistake that's going to cost the team. I don't know what it is, but look around at this bracket in this league right now. This is as wide open as you're going to get. Like, this is your chance. And if they're going to get through this round and get through another round and whatever, Mitch Marner is going to have to be a force night in and night out. And I'm sitting there tonight and I'm going, why is Matthew Knies, a rookie, more of a factor, shift in and shift out? And I don't care about the 11 points, okay? Like, yes, it's nice. Good job. Well done. But you can't tell me that when you sit and watch this guy, that he's a shell of what he looked like. Like, yeah, almost had 100 points this year. Like, where is that guy?
I don't know. I think
like, do you think I'm off my nut with this take on Marner?
No, I think it just depends what type of fan you are of this team. Like, there's people who are probably seeing something different than we're seeing. What I'm seeing, and I think what you're seeing, it's just when you watch Mitch Marner play in the regular season, it's just like he's all over the ice. He's all over the play. He always has the puck. He's always doing something. And now it's just, yeah, like he still can set up. He can still get that primary, secondary assists on goals because he's just that talented. But he's not the same guy who's constantly injecting himself into every shift and being the same guy that he's always being. And the same thing with William Nylander too. It's
that's the best way of putting it. Injecting himself. It's like he wants it when he's locked in. He's give me that puck, and he's setting up Matthews or setting up Tavares or putting it in himself. And he's just not even on the power play. Like he gets it on the power play, it's right off his stick. It's like he just doesn't. He's not engaging the way I think he needs to be engaging on like a shift-to-shift basis to help get this team over the hump.
I think so highly of the Tampa Bay Lightning now that I will cut any guy a break when you're playing them. Like they're just so good that it's hard to get any space. But like you're watching this. That's why it's the problem with this series. It's just you're watching the Panthers and it's like really like. They're a good team. They can score. They can capitalize. I get it. But like, if you're gonna actually get time and space and move the puck around effectively in this series, like this is the team to do it against, man. This isn't Tampa. Like this is different hockey. This should feed into Mitch Marner's game a little bit more. And like Tavares was nowhere. Nylander was on the perimeter all night. Like this is a team where you should. It could show tonight that the Leafs can, you said it while we were watching, the Leafs can actually impose their will on this team. You even saw it physically. You saw Luke Shen hit a guy. You saw Morgan Riley hit a guy. You saw Jake McCabe hit a guy. Like, we're not afraid here. We're not getting bullied, but, and this is the series, and this is the team where guys like Marner and Nylander can actually flourish because they're going to have a little more time and space to move the puck around. And they need to capitalize on their chances like Florida's capitalizing on theirs.
But they need Marner to be playing the way he plays when he's at his best in order to do that. Like Matthew Tkachuk is doing that right now. Austin Matthews did that against Tampa Bay Lightning. Austin Matthews had good scoring chances tonight. Like I thought as the game went on, I
thought he wasn't good. I'm sorry.
Well, he started playing on the perimeter as well. But you can't yerp the guy after his performance in Tampa. Like Marner, again, I know the points. I feel like I have to reiterate this over and over again because one thing I've learned from doing this podcast and putting it on YouTube or putting clips on TikTok, people hear what they want to hear. So, again, I get it. He had 11 points. That's fantastic. But you can't tell me that he is not a shell of what he was in the regular season when it comes to like his dominance when he has the puck. And the same thing goes for William Nylander, who is just back to being passive perimeter William Nylander. And it's just like you and I both were talking about Ray Ferraro's hit on Overdrive this afternoon, where he basically talked about William Nylander and said, this guy, when he wants to be, can be an X factor. And like, he just like, come on, man. Like you just had a career season. Like we need more. We need more.
Yeah. I mean, I just watching the game tonight, I almost had like the guy sitting on this shoulder and a guy sitting on this shoulder. The guy on my left wanted to just absolutely ream out every single player on this hockey team for just having a bad shift. And the other guy's like, we just watched the worst game one of all time not too long ago. So let's not worry about this. I know, we're not freaking
Nobody's
out here.
Overreacting here. Like, this isn't like, listen.
Like, at one point tonight, like, I was texting I try to keep my cool now. Like, I used to get all spazzy over sports takes, but like, one buddy's telling me how good like the Florida Panthers are, and I'm just getting angry. I'm like, this team isn't good. Like this isn't like this irrelevant franchise. They're not good. That's what's going to be the most frustrating part of this series. Is just you're playing a team that's done nothing ever, other than win the President's Trophy and get swept in the second round last year. So it's just, that's going to be the most frustrating part for me in this series. It's just, you could beat this team.
Yes.
Like, this isn't a juggernaut. If you're playing the Bruins, it's different because it's the Bruins. But you're playing this, you could beat this team.
Yes, and if you make stupid mistakes, sloppy mistakes, then that's on you. And not to take anything away from the Florida Panthers, but it's just like, come on, boys. Like I said, there were moments and stretches in the game tonight where I did thought that they imposed their will. So,
yeah. Like, even when they lost to the Habs, that's the worst loss of all time. But at least at the end of the day, like, there's some historical significance there. It's just sitting and thinking of the thought of them losing to the Florida Panthers in a 7-game series. Not that it's over. It's game 1. I know this series is going 6 or 7. It's what the Leafs do. They always lose in 7. But it's just, let's not lose to this irrelevant franchise. Please play better.
Yeah, it's true.
Don't get sucked in.
No, don't
capitalize on your power play opportunities.
Yes, you got it. But credit to Bobrovsky. He was excellent tonight. But again, I get, like, you just eliminated
best
goalie
in
the last 10 years.
Let's not freak out.
No,
we're not freaking out.
No, we're not freaking out.
There's anything wrong with that, but we're not freaking out.
Yeah, no, we're not freaking out. Like I said, I'm
kind of freaking out, but I'm not freaking out. Okay, let's not do that.
We're not I'm not leaving that game going, oh my God, this is a disaster. It's like, no, one team capitalized on their chances, the other didn't. One team was sloppy defensively, the other had great goaltending. Yeah, that's that simple. What did you think of Samsonov tonight?
I thought he was fine. I thought obviously, I don't know why he's falling backwards, doing a backwards somersault on the Verhaeghe goal, but first 2 goals, like, what are you going to do about it? Like, really, he was fine. They could have won that game. They tied it up 2-2. They could have come back and won that game. That is no goalie's fault at all. I didn't even think Bobrovsky was that good. I'm going to be honest. Like, he made a couple nice saves. He made a couple nice saves, particularly on Austin Matthews, but I don't think that was the difference in that hockey game.
They got back in the game, and they did a really good job against Tampa. Outside of game 1 after the bunting penalty and whatever, they did a really good job against Tampa of not giving up like a backbreaker. I mean, they did come back from 4-1, but in the close games, they did a really good job of not of sticking with it, and just that Brody pinch, that McCabe pinch, and that Brody ill-advised decision. That was it. It was curtains after that.
And I think even though it's so weird, like, Tampa did absolutely dominate the play, but at the end of the day, Tampa's top guys did not score in that series. Right now, the Florida Panthers' top players are scoring. So if you give them the opportunity, no matter how much you outplay them, they're going to score when they get a chance. So you gotta eliminate the chances, and your top guys have to score as much as their top guys are.
Yeah, if Brandon Montour gets a clean look, he's probably going to score. If Matthew Tkachuk is in and around the net, he's either going to score or he's going to help set up a goal. Or he's going to bang one in. It's like, one thing I do want to touch on that I thought was a really huge positive tonight was we need to change the name of this podcast to Talkin' Nies, because that second goal that put the Panthers up 2-0 went in off his stick. And when you're a young kid and you're in a high pressure situation like this, that is something that could very easily crush your confidence and sort of take you out mentally. And what does he do? He comes out on the very next shift and scores his first NHL playoff goal. I can't say enough about this kid's maturity and how he's looked since they've put him into the lineup. He is such an important piece for them going forward. I love the kid. I love him. There hasn't been really a moment since he's showed up that I've been like, ooh, Matthew Nies. Not once.
Needs to make a quicker pass out of his own zone. That's the only thing I'd say, really. Other than that, he's been good. He's on the top line. I mean, Zach Aston-Reese never was on the top line, so it just shows you a rookie can come in if he has the ability. He's going to be put on the top line, but yeah, I mean, another thing I liked tonight was I liked some of the hits. To be honest with you, when's the last time you seen the Leaf players actually lay some nice clean body checks? That was kind of nice. I didn't mind that.
Yeah, they were the ones who were kind of bringing the physicality to Florida
not
tonight.
Dirty, nothing. They weren't really getting there wasn't a lot of nasty stuff tonight, early in the Tampa series. But Luke Shen, beautiful hit on Tkachuk. McCabe had a nice hit on Kachuk. Morgan Riley, I'm still not even sure it was Morgan Riley threw that hit, but that was a nice hit. Like I thought they were pretty physical in a nice, clean playoff style way. I enjoyed that. When's the last time you saw a Leaf team do that? Never.
Yeah, no, it was a nice. Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of positives to take from tonight's game. It's just capitalize on your chances and don't be sloppy defensively. And you should beat this team.
Yeah, that's the problem with the series.
You're not spazzing, but when I look into your soul, I can see that you are internally spazzing at the thought of potentially getting eliminated by the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, it's the worst. I mean, like I think back to the Sundin years, and they made it to the East Final twice. They lost to Buffalo in '99, but at least Buffalo had Dom Hasek. But they 0-2 they lose to the Hurricanes in the East Final, and like it's kind of equivalent to that. It's like, we really gonna lose to just a complete irrelevant franchise? Like that's the only thing that traps my ass about this series, to be honest with you. It's just it's wide open, man. Like it's wide open, and I don't want to get too upset after one game. And we know the Leafs. We've seen them play a playoff series since 2016. It always goes to 6, 7 every time, mostly 7. So I'm not getting too worried. But it's just the thought of going down 2-0 in Toronto. And also, can we just stop with home ice too? Like, can we just overrated narrative in sports, in my opinion.
Well, if you
means nothing.
If you look at the
Leafs prove that, the Panthers prove that, it means nothing.
If you look at the stats from round 1, you're right. Like the road team set a really good
overrated thing in pro sports. Maybe other than the NFL because it's one game, but I'm sorry, in a 7-game series, it means jack shit. The Kraken, like it means nothing. It's already over. There's no advantage anymore. You lose one game, like, oh yeah, home ice advantage. I hate that narrative.
There were a lot of people perplexed at this schedule for this series. It is tonight, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday. So no Saturday in there. It just is what it is. But it's
I thought, it's not. I don't care about who cares about the Saturday? I don't care about that. It's just during the Tampa series, there was only one game that had 2 days in between it, and now there's 2. That's the only difference, really.
Well, and apparently that has to do with the Miami Heat and prioritization that the National Basketball Association gets in the U.S. over the national. I mean, yeah.
That's exactly.
That checks out, yes.
A relevant franchise.
Yes.
That plays right into the narrative. No one cares about the Florida Panthers.
Well, we're going to be back Thursday after Game 2. I'd imagine Sheldon Keefe will have some different line combinations. I think he's just itching to get number 3 back in there. I know if I know Sheldon, tomorrow he's going right into Kyle's office and he's going to go, you know what we missed last night? Justin Hall, my son.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to, yeah. There's also another defenseman who has a gray beard who also isn't playing.
Yeah, I do think I don't know if I want to get into that because
let's not. Let's just leave that.
Yeah, let's just leave that alone.
We'll
okay.
There.
All right. Well, as I said earlier, we will be back Thursday after Game 2. So if you'd like to come along that journey with us, hit that like and subscribe button below.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
If you're friends, if you're listening to the audio version as well, like and subscribe, little review, every little bit helps. That's how people find you in the algorithm. So help people find us in the algorithm.
SEO, baby.
That's what we mean when we say spread the word and tell your friends. We will see everyone after Game 2.